Alright, everyone, time to take a look at the second episode of the day, which is Haunted. As the episode opens, a Big Belly Burger employee spills some trash she's taking out in an alleyway. She's ambushed by two men who try to assault her. Just then, the Revser appears and beats the two men, brutally killing one of them. As the woman begins to thank her, Sarah starts choking her while reciting something in Arabic. The police show up and Sarah flees. At Oliver's campaign office, Thea acquaints Oliver with Alex Davis, the new political strategist. Alex advises Oliver to distance himself from Lance's family due to the scandals involved. Oliver is hesitant, but Alex points out he can't unite the city if he's still viewed as a playboy. Alex insists that Oliver needs to distance himself from Laurel. In flashbacks on Lian Yu, Oliver makes his way back to base, where Conklin confronts him about the communication gear revealing his correspondence with Amanda Waller. Conklin brings Oliver to speak with Baron Raider, who discovered a trespasser, John Constantine. Back in Star City, Lance is on the scene with the attacked employee. He realizes the perpetrator, who was also randomly killing criminals in the city, is Sarah. Lance is distraught about it, and Laura insists that she needs to find Sarah first and stop her killing spree. At Palmer Tech, Felicity and Curtis suspect the thumb drive containing Ray's last message. Felicity realizes there is more to the message, and she needs Curtis to decode it. Lance goes to see Damien Dark, who gives him an assignment to break into a government server homestead and insert a device Dark gives him into the main computer. At the bunker, Oliver and Thea are sparring with his Christmas sticks. Thea tells Oliver that she doesn't agree with Alex's plan. Although Oliver points out he and Laurel have a complicated history, Thea reminds him the Lances have consistently been there whenever she and Oliver needed them. Their discussions are interrupted by a call from Felicity. A blonde woman is attacking a club. Oliver and Thea show up, finding Laurel already fighting the perpetrator. Before they can bring the woman down, however, Oliver shocked to discover that it's Sarah who's responsible for the assaults. He freezes long enough to let her escape. Well, cat's out of the bag now. Back at the bunker, Oliver rapidly makes sense of how Sarah's back, and he's angry. He confronts Laurel on recklessly using the Lazarus pit on her sister. In the flashbacks, Raider shows Oliver a map of the island Constantine had, with the rest of his personal effects. Vader needs whatever it is that Constantine is after, and sends Oliver to accompany him to get it. When Conklin objects, Constantine incapacitates him and uses his firearm to damage a vehicle and kidnap Oliver. In the present, Lance goes to the bunker and learns about the situation with Sarah. He gives Oliver the device Dark gave him. Felicity realizes it houses a virus that will target and erase select documents. Oliver doesn't want Lance to break into a government structure all alone and sends him to work with Diggle, who was unsettled about working for Hive, the organization which murdered Andy. He decides to use Lance to bring down Dark. At home that night, Oliver and Felicity talk about Sarah's return and attempt to make sense of why she had focused on the Big Belly Burger employee and Clubber, which had previously just killed criminals. After bringing out the pair's profiles, the two realize that the women resembled Thea, who had killed Sarah. Oliver attempts to call his sister to warn her. Thea is relaxing in Laurel's apartment and declines Oliver's call, believing he wants to scold her. He wants to scold her for bringing Sarah back. Suddenly, Sarah breaks in the apartment door and assaults Thea while talking Arabic, smashing her into various objects. Thea manages to push Sarah back by cutting her with a piece of glass and runs out of the apartment into the stairwell. After reaching the bottom floor, Thea loses consciousness and Sarah escapes. At the hospital, Thea reveals to Oliver and Felicity that Sarah's experiencing a bloodlust similar to hers, which will only go away if she kills the person who killed her. Thea explains her bloodlust is temporarily suppressed because Malcolm had her kill two assailants in Nanda Parbat. Laura comes in to check out Thea and Oliver accompanies her out to talk. His Rather and Merlin had Thea kill two people, and Laura didn't tell him about her visit to Nanda Parbat. Laura counters that Oliver didn't inform her concerning Thea until he completely needed to, on the grounds that he doesn't consider her to be an equal. Laura agrees that Sarah's current state is in view of a choice she made and is heartbroken about what has befallen Thea, because she's always cherished the queens. Laura just wishes Oliver would think about her family as well. Back on Lian Yu, Oliver drives Constantine to a clearing in the wilderness. Constantine says there are things on the island that terrible people shouldn't approach, although he's on the heavily attendance. Constantine pulls up certain plants, twigs, and earth before casting a spell, perplexing Oliver. The spell covers a secret passageway in the ground, and Constantine sets Oliver down a stepping stool in front of him. At the government facility, Dougal has attached a USB and sees the erasing records on people, but they don't know who. In the hospital, Laurel apologizes to Thea, who reiterates that Sarah needs to kill her. Thea considers letting Sarah do so because the former is the one who originally killed her. Laurel states that hurting her to kill Sarah is not an option. At the government facility, Dougal sees that Andy's records are one of the ones being erased. Despite Lance's warnings, he scrambles to stop the procedure, but an alert goes off and the security guards find them. Lance knocks Dougal out with his gun and tells the guards that he's a cop who followed a hacker here, ordering them to call for backup. After they leave, Lance convinces Dougal to escape with him. At the hospital, Sarah sneaks into Thea's room, waking her up. Thea assures Sarah that whatever she needs to do is okay. Sarah begins strangling Thea and knocks over an IV stand, alerting Oliver and Laurel. Sarah throws Thea at the two to stop them and jumps out the window. Thea is discharged from the hospital. At the bunker, Oliver noticed how Sarah wasn't there when he looked at her. He realizes the pit didn't bring back her soul and she has a connection with Thea. Thea decides they can use that to find Sarah. On the island, Constantine clarifies that Lan Yu draws in dangerous people. He finds a description that translates to just for the unadulterated of heart, so he handcuffs Oliver to a post and strolls in. Oliver uncuffs himself and follows Constantine in. As Constantine reveals an ancient artifact, the Orb of Horus, Oliver saves it from a trap he sprung, revealing he's not one of Raider's men. Lance meets with Dark to confirm he succeeded in his mission and asks about Andy Diggle. Dark reveals that Hive employed a professional killer to take out Andy because he was a rival for Hive in Afghanistan, a drug dealer. At the closed-down Verdant, Thea uses herself as bait to lure out Sarah and the rest of Team Arrow is standing ready. Sarah crashes through a window and assaults Thea, but after a short battle with the group, Oliver uses a sedative arrow on her. Laura decides to shoot Sarah, realizing there's nothing of her sister left. Oliver stops her instead and calls Constantine for help. Constantine joins Team Arrow at the bunker and deduces that Sarah needs restitution, or reclamation of her soul. He gives Felicity a list of items needs and assures the group he's done this before. Constantine claims that things turned out badly, or to be dead to even consider caring. Once the ritual is set up and Lance arrives, Constantine reveals he can only take himself and two other individuals to retrieve Sarah's soul. Oliver and Laurel volunteer, and Constantine warns them that it'll be difficult. And then lights a fire in the bowl Felicity gave him, chants a spell, and the bunker begins to shake as three of them wind up on the opposite side. Constantine, Oliver, and Laurel find themselves in a visage of Nanda Parbat. Constantine manages to track down Sarah, who is trapped in Lazarus Pit and shouting for Laurel's help. Constantine orders Oliver and Laurel to get Sarah out while he battles whatever comes to monitor the entryways. Oliver takes out 2 League of Assassins operations with his bow while Constantine engages in a sword duel with another. Laurel has trouble pulling Sarah away from the souls holding her in the pit. Constantine wins by using the correct spell after attempting Couple to immobilize his spirit and kill him. Oliver and Laurel work together to save Sarah from the pit. The group returns to awareness in the real world. As the trio recover from their trip, Sarah awakens as herself. Lance's family tearfully embrace one another while Team Arrow and Constantine watch on in relief and joy. Oliver thinks Constantine admits he owes him one. Constantine assures they're even now, but Oliver insists that he'll be there if Constantine needs his help again. Constantine asks about the sinister presence he says in the city, and Oliver suggests it's Damien Dark. Constantine becomes concerned and advises Oliver to watch himself. When Oliver asks for his help, Constantine invites him to leave the city. After he leaves, Thea expresses her attraction to Constantine, much to Oliver's annoyance. She brings up Nanda Parbat. Oliver apologizes for getting angry with her, admitting he doesn't have any right to be upset with his sister for keeping Sarah's resurrection from him after he kept Thea's bloodlust from her. The siblings hug and reconcile. Aww. In a flashback, Constantine tells Oliver he owes him one and offers to take him home, having a boat on shore, reiterating that Slam isn't what Ryder is really after, only on you. However, Oliver wants to finish his mission. He reveals Conca suspects him a lot as of now, so he can't return with nothing. Constantine severs the Orb of Horus from the artifact, so genuine power is in the grimoire, a spellbook engraved on the staff, and he knows Ryder will only be pulled in by the shiny part. Constantine uses staff to transfer a tattoo from his arm to Oliver's stomach, which will help him in the future. At Oliver's suggestion, Constantine punches him out to make his escape look convincing. In the present, Oliver prepares to announce his candidacy for mayor. He invites Laurel despite Alex's protests. Oliver declares he won't separate himself from Laurel, as potential political scandals aren't important as his goals for the city. Alex gives in, knowing he'll get paid in any case. Thea is happy with Oliver's choice. Laurel explains that Sarah is resting and thanks Oliver for saving her sister's soul. She apologizes for her words from the hospital, to which Oliver admits that he hasn't really been a good friend to her lately. He promises to be better and the two embrace. Oliver then makes a speech as his friends and employees watch with approval. Lance arrives at Diggle's apartment, bringing a printed version of an ordered record on Andy. He tells Diggle, "You don't have to read this. You can remember your brother, how you knew him." He gives the papers to Diggle, who's discouraged, yet satisfied to know the truth about Andy. Felicity visits Palmer Tech, finding Curtis has consumed many energy drinks in the process of decrypting Ray's message. It reveals that Ray was testing his suit's nanotechnology and is in fact alive, as well as in danger. Dun dun dun! So let's take a look at some trivia surrounding this episode. John Constantine won't appear again until DC's Legends of Tomorrow's Bebo the God of War, which aired 2 years after this episode. Pertaining to Oliver, Alex compares Sarah's death on the Queen's Gambit to Chappaquiddick. In 1969, Ted Kennedy caused a car crash on Chappaquiddick Island, which killed his passenger, Mary Jo Kopechne. The scandal permanently hindered Kennedy's presidential ambitions. In a flashback, John calls Oliver Alice and tells him to go down the rabbit hole, referencing Alice's adventures in Wonderland. It's supposed to be a reference to Mad Hatter, a frequent Batman villain. John mentions having performed restitution once many years ago, a reference to returning Marcello Panetti's soul to his body in Rage of Caliban. When Felicity catches Curtis on his way to the gym, he's wearing a jacket that reads, "Fair play" on his right arm. This is the endorsement of Terry Sloan, the first person to become Mr. Terrific, whose hero costume included the slogan on his torso. This also foreshadows Curtis to become Mr. Terrific in season 5, like his comics counterpart. When Sarah's soul is pulled out of Lazarus Pit by Oliver and Laurel, she is wearing a white negligee, which foreshadows her becoming the White Canary. The title is a subtle nod to the cancellation of Constantine, being named after Warren Ellis' 1999 storyline Haunted for the Hellblazer series for John Constantine. Ellis left the book that year after DC Comics refused to publish a single story, Shoot for Hellblazer about high school shootings. Following the Columbine High School massacre, Shoot was finally published in 2010 and Vertigo resurrected Hellblazer Shoot #1. This is the third episode of the series to feature a member of Team Arrow, in this case Sarah Lance, as an antagonist. All this was due to the fact that she didn't have her soul, after Rory Harper had seen red and Oliver Queen and Al Sahim. And now let's take a look at some behind-the-scenes notes. On November 1st, 2015, a record of the episode was leaked onto the internet. The scene in which John Constantine uses a dead peacock's feather scratch an itch on his back is a reference to Constantine's former network NBC. Their logo is a rainbow peacock. Constantine had already been cancelled and was out of production by the time of this episode. Yeah, I'm still a bit bitter about the fact that the show only lasted one freaking season, but whatever. So overall, I really like this episode, and I love seeing John Constantine in pretty much any Arrow shows and any Arrowverse show. So yeah. So overall, I give Haunted 5 arrowheads out of 5. Anyway, tune in as we take a look at the final episode of the day, Lost Souls. So until then, in the words of Oliver Queen, you have failed this city.